I'm delighted to be here with Tanya Rennick. Tanya Rennick is the energetic and vivacious founder of the Oyster Club, which is probably one of the premier networking clubs in London, I would say. Tanya's got quite a varied background, a whole variety from acting to doing voiceovers and all sorts of different things, which has perhaps led to what you do now around networking and introducing people and getting involved in all sorts of, I think, very interesting topics and connecting lots of very interesting people. So it's a great pleasure to be with you this morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolute pleasure. I think first question is what was the catalyst to you setting up the Oyster Club? It was something very different to what you've done in the past.
I think, as you said, it's about people, and I'm fascinated by people and different characters and bringing them together. And so the Oyster Club really began because I had to go out networking for the job I was doing at the time. And the more networking that I was doing, the more it became clear that there was a missing link, and it was fun and luxury, hugely missing from every event that I went to. And so I started to throw some small ones, and it became very clear very quickly that I was good at it and that people enjoyed coming. And I suppose it was calling to me, and so I continued.
Fantastic. You tell a really interesting story about when you met with John Bird. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, part of what the Black Pearl Club does is has after dinner speakers, and they're largely anecdotal and they're inspirational people. And so I'm always on the lookout for different people to come and speak. And I was at a YouGov debate on the big society, and John Bird was on the panel. And as he was speaking, I thought, I have to have this man speak at my dinner. And of course, at the time, I was unknown. And so really, I didn't know what I was going to say to him when I got him. But as the debate finished, everyone was milling around. And I'm very small, but I did practically rugby tackle my way through the crowd to get to John Bird. And I ran up to him and I said, John Bird, like a wild thing. I have to speak to you. I'm just like a big issue seller because I have a thing and I need to sell it, and therefore you're going to get it and you're going to come and help me. And he looked at me like I was a crazy person, and I said, no, please give me 5 minutes of your time. And we had a coffee, and he said, I would love to help you. So that was how he came up.
And he was one of the first speakers at your dinners.
Yes, he was one of the first.
And since then, you've had a whole variety of people, from sports to politics and everything in between, I suppose.
Yes, we've had Jonathan Aitken, we've had Barry Hearn, Tim Campbell, the winner of The First Apprentice, Rachel Elnor, the first Lady Dragon. We've even had Lord Archer. So, yes, and it's all been a question of being quite audacious and going out and just asking the question and taking a chance, I suppose.
Yeah. You exude a fabulous positive energy and curiosity and interest in people. What drives you?
Gosh, what a great question. Well, I have children, so I suppose that's a great incentive to get out and get to work. I suppose as well I had a difficult childhood, and so I've always wanted to have a better adulthood and to see more positivity. And I think the drive is to find the best in people, because there is always a best in everyone, in absolutely everyone. And I quite like to change people's minds. And so if they start off not liking someone, I quite like to convince them that otherwise. I mean, we're not all fits for each other, and it would be ridiculous to say that we are. And part of what I do is finding synergies between people.
That's really interesting. So it's almost that, I suppose, almost a challenge when you sense that maybe someone doesn't rub up as well with someone else, that you want to do something about shifting that, or at least putting it into a better place.
Yes, I really do, because sometimes people can be nervous when they first meet someone else, or they may have been trying to push a point that wasn't being well received. And good communication skills require you to step back and just be a bit more natural and not think about the end game and the end objective, which is what people often do. And they can make the mistake of kind of being too pushy. And perhaps they're not actually pushy, perhaps they're really nice, but they've just been a bit nervy.
Well, that's, I suppose, and there's that facade, isn't there, that
Yes.
goes ahead, and perhaps all the way I've seen you network and the events that you put together, I think it does allow people to be who they are in a relatively non-threatening environment, or be in some of the most amazing environments in London as far as venues are concerned. But I think in terms of the way the events work, it does allow people to perhaps be themselves.
Thank you. Yes, that's what we aim to do. Very much so.
And going back to what you said earlier about not wishing to delve into childhood and difficulty, however, what are those things that that I suppose drive you and inspire you? You know, when you have had a tough day and you're having a difficult day, for people that are listening thinking, oh, well, it's all very well for you and you can do these things, but we all have difficult days to one degree or another.
I think the challenge is to make the best out of anything. I was once told that I could land in a pile of poo and come up smelling of roses. It is the way I'm made. I'm determined not to be a victim in life. And I suppose taking a challenge and making the best of it is an exciting thing to do. I practice gratitude, which I know sounds a little bit out there, but every day I am grateful for things. So this morning we've just discussed the babysitter didn't turn up, everything got thrown into chaos, but I was grateful for the fact that I had enough time to deal with it, that I could actually walk outside and it wasn't raining, you know, small things. So remembering small things and being hugely grateful for little things will start the ball rolling. But I think as well, getting to the end of the day, it's essential for me to know that I've played full out and that I've given everything to that day. And so if you get into the practice of doing that, it means that when the challenges hit you, you find ways to deal with them really, really quickly, because you know there's going to be a point where you're going to have a little look at yourself and say, did I do the best I could? You know, did I really fight the fight? Because there's no one else that's going to do it for you.
Well, no, absolutely. I think that's a great tip for people, isn't it? You know, have we done our best? And I think sometimes we know maybe we haven't, or we could have done a bit more. But actually, if the strive is to do as much as you can in the given moment.
I think so. There was an interesting comment a friend of mine made in his book about he ran the Marathon des Sables, and his goal was just to finish. But someone said to him, if you do that, you'll end up finishing on your knees. What you need to do is finish with energy to spare and feeling really good about things. And he had that goal in mind. And in fact, that's exactly what he did. So I think it's, really pushing yourself to the max.
Going a little bit beyond.
Going a little bit beyond, absolutely. I don't like the expression, shoot for the stars and you may end up, I don't know, somewhere mediocre, because it's almost suggesting
shoot
that,
for the moon, I think.
shoot for the moon, because it's a bit mediocre, because it means that, well, you may not get there. You're already setting yourself up for a fall. But yes, certainly aim big, keep aiming big, and you will get there eventually. I suppose I prefer that analogy, really.
Yeah, which is fabulous. Who inspires you?
You do.
Me aside.
Wow. Okay. Oprah Winfrey is probably a big one out there. You know, she's awesome in her achievements. And oh gosh, that's really got me. I'm inspired by art and beauty, so I think a lot of that is with my other hat on. I'm a forever student and learning about, literature and art and things that really move me. So I would be more inspired by things, I think. So a trip to the V&A would probably get my juices flowing again.
Is that what inspired the Cultured Pearl Club that you have, which is very much about art, is it not?
Absolutely.
Formal or whichever.
It was completely self-indulgent creating the Cultured Pearl Salon. As you said, it's art, history, literature and philosophy. And it's a great way to bring people together without the focus on networking and bringing it to something else. With
shared passion.
Yes, absolutely. Feeding your soul is so important. I think that we've lost sight of that in our busy lives. And so coming back to that is absolutely wonderful. And being surrounded by like-minded peers is really, yes, inspirational.
So what, I suppose, what tips, what insights, what would you share with people that are maybe thinking about doing something different in their life, asking for a promotion? I don't know, setting up a new business, whatever it might be.
Visualisation, I think, is a really useful tool. I remember a friend of mine who was quite put upon, and she was going through a nasty divorce, and the husband was really mean. And I said to her, just picture yourself as Joan Collins. Get in there as Joan Collins. And she came back to me and said, it really worked. I walked in and I felt bitch, and it really worked. And so I would say visualization is key. Imagine the thing that you want to do and be, and eventually you will become it. And for me, that worked. I wanted to be the hub of this wonderful Oyster Club, this wonderful bringing together of community, and I have become it. Thank you. And I really do believe it is visualization. Oh, I couldn't get my words out. Visualization that's absolutely key to getting your point across.
When we're having those days that are a bit more challenging, you're acting as if, you're being whosoever, and those other things that actually aren't so important tend to fall away.
When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you.
So with that, I suppose, tenacity and audacity that you have, that comes through so clearly, what's next? What's next for Tanya?
Well, I'm working on the STAR principle, which is a code for living, which does address how to find that energy within yourself to move on and to do something that's something that you really need to do in your life. It might be something that's pressing or challenging or a complete change. And by using the STAR principle, it will help you make those shifts. So your STAR is your story. And that's really vital, because you have to have a reason why you want to make a change. You've got tenacity, you've got to find that energy, you've got to find that drive. Stars have drive. You can't do it if you're passive, it won't work. Audacity, take those chances, really live. What's the worst that can happen? You get a no, you get a knockback. It doesn't hurt that much. I can really assure you of that. And get the thing right. So it's no good, walking goldfish for a living. You'll never have a business with that. So get something right. And then right now, do the thing now that you really want to do, because life we all know how fast time flies. How often do people say, oh, I can't believe it's November and nearly Christmas, or where's the year gone? Well, it will fly by. So get the thing going now. Make a decision, own the decision, and just do it. Make like Nike and just do it.
That's great.
Thank you.
Yes, and listening to you talking about that, it sounds as though it's very sort of intrinsically linked to you, i.e. your story, where
yes.
you come from, the great things, your kids, the difficult stuff. moving into that real tenacity and audacity to think, I'm going to do something different.
Yes.
And then moving that forward, which is a fantastic thing to share.
Thank you so much. It is. It's exciting, I think, when you get to a point in your life where you think, why am I here? Why am I actually here? You know, it all feels like hard work and there's not much pleasure in life. I think that's the point where you say, enough. I'm going to take ownership of my life and I'm going to be the one who decides. So I think it's choice. I think choice is a crucial and vital part of anyone's decision to make shifts and move on. You know,
freedom, doesn't it? If you have
but
a choice,
absolutely. Even choosing to be happy every day, it's a choice thing. Choosing to bounce out of bed or choosing to slump back. Exactly. It's so, you know, choosing to smile at people or choosing to stay really, you know, but insular. Yes. Thank you. Yes. So choosing to share, choosing to be open, choosing to take the chances that life throws at you is, you know, a great way to be happy. And the more you do that, the more, you know, the world plays games with you and you have fun.
Yeah, that's very exciting. So Star's in its sort of embryonic stages, if you like.
Yes.
And just about to roll out into...
Yes. Star is right there and about to happen. And of course, the Oyster Club is moving along. More of the same, more fabulous evenings and events. And maybe taking it to a couple of other cities, who knows. But I've been asked, and so...
Exciting.
I know. Thank you. World, here I come. Thank you very much.